Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Raila Odinga is out of the country for a 5 days tour in UK. Now, if you look at the team that flew with Raila Odinga, then you will actually get worried of what is going to happen in his campaigns. Because the last time he was on a 10 days tour in India, the Sky team that is led by Hassan Joho and a host of other leaders like Ledama Olekin and Junet Mohammed were actually on the campaign trail. But this time round, it seems he has carried everyone there. Now, but there is some good news because Kalonzo Musyoka is not leaving things to chances. I want us to look at that, but let us still tell you who is with Raila Odinga and how the tour is going to look like in UK. Now, of the leaders that have accompanied Raila is Peter Kenneth, Charity Ngilu, Junet Mohammed, Hassan Joho, Oparanya, let me just confirm others, Oparanya, amongst others. There's so many. Ben Agina, I am told that is the head of his international relations. Now, that is the person that works for Raila. On the other side is Ababu Namwamba. He was received by Manoa Isipisu, the UK ambassador in Kenya, Manoa Isipisu, who used to work in State House, and he have an array of meetings that is going to hold when he is on the other end. I also need to clarify that Junet Mohammed is also there and James Orengo. If you look at that team, you will actually get worried because almost half of his campaign members have flew abroad. Now, part of his meetings is with the UK Minister of Armed Forces, James Happy. There are also some other interviews that he's going to do there. Apart from that, he's going to have a meeting with Lord Tarif Ahmad, the UK Minister of South Asia, North Africa in the United Nations and the Commonwealth at the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO. He'll also give a talk at the Chatham House for the political think tanks there. So what this tells you, I was also forgetting, there is also another meeting with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, on Thursday at Lambeth Palace, which is the official residence. On the same day, he will meet Kenyans living abroad in UK. So it's a bit of a diaspora campaigns. Is it something that was planned or just trying to play catch up after Deputy President did the same? I don't know. I was trying to follow that meeting, and I think Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli also had mentioned that he was going there, but I've not seen him part of that. We also have to mention that Pauline Njoroge is also in UK, but she didn't fly with this team. I think she was there before, and of course, she was just trying to prepare the groundwork. Back home, there's some good news. And the good news here is Kalonzo Musyoka have joined the campaign trail. And Kalonzo with Gideon Moi took the Azimio Oka campaigns to Tharaka Nithi today, the 14th of March. Interesting developments because I think as that is going on, there is some contradiction that is emerging on the name of the coalition. Raila Odinga's spokesperson, presidential spokesperson, Makau Mutua, have mentioned that the deal that was signed on Saturday was a deal of political parties joining Azimio. So there was no deal between Azimio Oka. But again, Kalonzo Musyoka seems to be very pushing for an Oka Azimio deal. Of course, that for me, I think that argument is inconsequential. What we can all agree with is Raila Odinga needed Kalonzo Musyoka. Whether he's coming in Oka or he's coming through Wiper, it doesn't matter whether he's coming by a bus or a car, but he needed Kalonzo Musyoka. So let's face it, ladies and gentlemen. In this analysis, I want to try to look at the objectives of Kalonzo's campaigns after coming out to say Raila Tosha. And of course, there is no denial that Raila Odinga needed Kalonzo to be on his campaign side. So him assuming or getting to the campaign trail in the absence of Raila Odinga, what does this mean and what is the objective of this? because the question that was lingering is who was going to take charge of Azimio campaigns in absence of Raila Odinga? Who was it? Because Nderitu Muridi is also here. The others are a bit of not very strong candidates or very strong campaigners. But is Kalonzo Musyoka finally assuming that position to campaign? In that meeting of the photos that you can see here, it was only Kalonzo and Gideon Moi. Now that leaves it very open that Martha Karua is the voice of dissent in One Kenya Alliance. But then guys, what was the objective of that rally? But before we do that, if you are watching this video, kindly take a second and subscribe, and also give this video a like, give this video a thumbs up, so that when we publish there, when you give it a like, of course the YouTube rating will increase, and of more importance also if you give us your feedback. But have a snippet of how the rally was there.
Sababu mimi nimeangalia na nikaona ya kwamba hii serikali ya 2022 inayokuja, kwa maoni yangu na fikra, ni ya kwamba haitachukuliwa na mwingine, itachukuliwa na mtu anaitwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Tuseme hivyo, Raila Amolo Odinga. Inamaanisha inawezekana. Kwa hivyo hapa nasimama kusema ya kwamba sisi watu wa Tharaka ni watu ambao wanapenda wageni. Nimekuwa nasikia maneno ya Gito kianda kuona kirapo kwa na hapo runga chaji takwara we. Haya Azimio, inawezekana. Asanteni sana, jipigeni makofi. Na nasema hivyo kwa sababu sisi tulikuwa Meru district, sivyo? Tukapata Tharaka Nithi district. Wakati huo yule alitupatia hiyo na mwangaza. Naona ni tutafurahia. Na sasa nasikia ama naona kama kuna jina hilo limekuja. Kwa hivyo najua tutafaidika.
If you look at that rally, I don't want to spell the doom, but I feel like Kalonzo Musyoka was trying to gauge the reception. First, I want to think, was it organized or was it an impromptu meeting? Were they just invited for an event there? Because we still don't have the details. That video was just shared by The Nation. So the kind of ground, that kind of reception, I think, is not still friendly for Raila Odinga. Because remember, the rally that Raila held in Meru, in Kisumu, and even in Ukambani has actually been crowd of humanity. So Kalonzo Musyoka pulling such a crowd is something that for the perceptions it doesn't work. But all in all, I think the first objective of that rally was to test the reception on ground, and he chose Tharaka Nithi very strategic. And it was very strategic because he wanted, the plan by Kalonzo Musyoka to bring substance to Raila Odinga is to cement both lower and upper Eastern. So the lower, I think, is sorted. That is Ukambani, Makueni and Kitui. That is bitly sorted. But then, Tharaka Nithi, Meru, Isiolo are also partly part of the Ukambani basket. There are many Kambas who are staying the other side. So maybe he's also trying to reach out to these fellas so that he can bring something. And that is why that is the second bit on an effort to cement those two regions, both lower and eastern, because that is the bargaining power. Now, I also feel, quickly, I don't want to preempt whether Raila Odinga's presidential team knew of that meeting, but I think he's trying to confirm, or rather reaffirm, commitment in Azimio. I also think Kalonzo is trying to get how he can be integrated in Raila Odinga's mainstream campaign team. Now, of course, you see, it is the mainstream team that is well funded and well coordinated. So the resources actually are at the mainstream. So one thing I think Kalonzo Musyoka was trying to do here is to make sure first, by by seeing how things are folding out. Remember, through the just in Oka, as Kalonzo and Gideon, they still can't pull that much audience, or rather, they cannot still pull that number because bit of that mobilization is done by the mainstream team. So this campaign was strategically to give their commitment, and by showing that commitment, they can also be integrated in the mainstream campaigns. Now, I also feel like he wants to take charge of Raila's campaign in absentia, but there is something that is very specific here. If you look at the team that are with Raila in UK, there is a potential running mate there in the name of Peter Kenneth. So because they don't want to send the signals on who is probably the running mate, that is why I think even in absence of Raila Odinga, Kalonzo might not still take the spotlight that he wants to take, because the moment he thrusts and is put at the top of those campaigns, of course the narrative will run that he's already the chosen running mate. And in the political space, you know what that can do. This is a very precarious political situation where people will take advantage and now can start sharpening weapons when they know anything as of now. So just to make sure that the cards are still hidden, that is why I want to believe that those campaigns, he may not still be given full control, but he's going to take some visibility, because as you can see, the fact that that was his first campaign rally after endorsing Raila communicates volumes. And if you look at that rally, they were talking about inawezekana. But then look at, I saw Gideon Moi posting it and saying, under Azimio One Kenya coalition, will restore the decency of living in Kenya by re-engineering our economy to make it producer-driven and offer social protection to the poor. Campaigning for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga in Tharaka Nithi in the company of His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. So that is what they want. They want to get the spotlight that they are campaigning for Raila Odinga. But then I think that, this is my opinion, that for Kalonzo Musyoka to be integrated, he must get rid of those hardliners, and he must pick the few people that can campaign. You know, in Azimio there is Joho and these other fellas. So if Enoch Wambua and the other team are people who can campaign, then those are the fellas that should be integrated in the mainstream campaigns. That is something that is going to work. Then also, these voices, these mixed signals, although we are going to sit down and review the document, I think that statement is casting a lot of doubt in supporters. And if he's really committed in Azimio, I think those other conversations should actually dash off, and he should focus if it is about the campaigns. Guys, that is it. Do you think that Kalonzo Musyoka should take charge of Raila's campaigns?